We're getting a little bit of a short squeeze within the crypto market right now. Most of the coins are starting to pop green, but there's some very key levels which need to be reclaimed. In today's show, I'm going to give you those levels. We're also going to have a look at a brand new narrative, which most of the market are yet to catch on to. And I think it could provide some major opportunities. Now, just stick with me throughout the rest of the show. Unfortunately, I am still in Dubai, meaning that some of the internet connections are pretty bad over here in this particular hotel. So if I do cut off, just be patient. We'll cut it out and you can watch it later on without hopefully any interruptions. So having a look over there at the Banter Bubbles chart, you can see a lot of the coins are starting to pop. It is looking pretty decent. And I think bulls have a real opportunity. The last time we met was Thursday, or actually the live show was Wednesday last week. And I told you that in the next 4 days or so, I'm expecting a major bounce. And that was all around the bull moon, which was printing, which should be occurring as of today. So we're starting to get that bounce, but we have some very significant levels which need to be reclaimed around that $67,000 zone. I'll outline that for you on today's show. This is your measurement and your metric to see whether you should be going risk on into the market once again. And we're also seeing some bearish divergence on the Bitcoin dominance and some bullish divergence on the ETH BTC chart. So we'll have a look at that. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. Will really help us out over here, guys, since the shows have been irregular with the Dubai conference, the Token 24. It really helps if you smash that like button. And then let's get going with the rest of the show. So if you look over here, the Bitcoin halving cycle has officially been complete. And as Charles says, welcome to a new paradigm shift. We have Bitcoin electrical costs now at $77.4 thousand, which is pretty significant. He says, long story short, this means one of three things. Price will skyrocket. There will be a 15% of miners which will have to shut down because it's too expensive to mine Bitcoin. Or number three, transaction fees remain a lot higher, and they have picked up. For today's show, I'm also going to show you how you can identify when the fees on Bitcoin will be low so that you can execute trades within this brand new narrative, which is just about to take off. So stay tuned for that. We also have, following the halving cycle, now the Bitcoin inflation rate dropping to the lowest in the world, lower than Bitcoin, lower than gold, at now an inflation rate of 0.8%, officially making it the hardest asset in the world at the moment. So very positive. Also, we have the Gummy airdrop, which is absolutely pumping, right? The Gummy token, look at that, at 160 million. I dropped it into the Whale Room Discord as soon as I received the contract address, which was at about approximately a $6 million market cap. So those market participants are up astronomically, well over already. What is that? About 200-300x returns already for those who got in at that $6 million market cap, and it continues to pump. And there's some very big things coming for Gummy. You have obviously one of the strongest, largest communities in the world. Officially, when you look at the holder count over here with 45,000 Gummy token holders, it means that this is one of the biggest holders in the world for a meme coin, even bigger than 𝗕𝗏𝗃, right, which we know gained massive popularity over the last couple of months. So this is a really strong positive. And I know a lot of people have a lot of questions around Gummy, around what's called a white hat sniper, right? A white hat sniper, which sniped up 10% of the supply. We've seen all of the questions around that. That will be answered today, right? So all remaining questions, go through to my Twitter profile and you'll be able to find the link over there as well. You can see over there, Run says, what's next for Gummy, right? Launch Review is going to do a spaces on this. New centralized exchange listings. The next airdrop, there is going to be an airdrop. Remember, they airdrop 10% of the 30% of the tokens. So 20% still needs to go out, which means that there's going to be a minimum of 2 more airdrops. It could be even more. It depends on how they want to split that 20% up. But a minimum of 2 more airdrops. He's going to talk about the snipe tokens. They're going to release the addresses which snipe those tokens as well, the whitelist. The white hat sniper, perpetuals, which are going to be coming for Gummy, and then airdrop 2 for 𝗏𝗏𝗃 holders. So if you sold out of your 𝗏𝗏𝗃, I mean, because we did see the price take a little bit of a sell-off, meaning that people initially bought 𝗃𝗃 in the hopes of getting the gummy airdrop. Remember, 𝗕𝗏𝘁𝗃 said something really, really interesting, which resonated with me. He said that, if you want to buy a part of Banter, essentially, one way that you can view that is by being a 𝗃𝗃 holder, right? If you hold 𝗃𝗃, that's one way of indirectly getting exposure or equity to the media business within crypto. And of course, we know the partnership that happened between 𝗃𝗃 and crypto Banter. So a lot that's been said over here. We have the airdrop counter, which is continuing. Of course, hint, you probably want to keep that running on your Banter bubbles so that you can qualify for more. You can see over here, for those of you signed up to 𝗏𝗏𝗏, you should have received your airdrop. There it is. Mine's listed over here in my 𝗏𝗏𝗏 account. Now, the beauty of all of this is if you are to continue to mine over here, well, you're probably going to get part of that additional 20% of the gummy token airdropped at a later stage. The other thing is they've now opened up in the same way that they did with 𝗏𝗏𝗏, where you could sign up to 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and deposit. The other exchanges are now frothing for gummy because they've seen the level of interest, and even at token 49, people going absolutely mad for this gummy token. It's going to be probably listed on multiple different exchanges. And what you can do is, if you have a look at the link in the description below over here, you'll see next airdrop is incoming. Sign up to any one of these exchanges over here and deposit, and you will be eligible for the follow-through airdrop of the next round of gummy tokens. Any one of those in the link in the description below. Of course, you can sign up to all of them, then you're probably going to get more of an airdrop because it'll be relevant to each of those exchanges. Now, also, before we continue, before we go past the whole meme coin sector and we start to move into the rest of the traditional markets, I want to have a look at that because it is a very big week for the Magnificent Seven. I also want to look obviously at Bitcoin, and then I want to go into that one new narrative. Before we do all of that, of course, it was absolutely amazing getting to know the Banter fam and the viewers of the show, those people who have been following me for a long time, those people in Whale Room. You guys know who you are. Wonderful, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for coming out. But I had an interesting conversation, right? An interesting conversation for someone that followed me from the very, very beginning. I'm not going to mention their name. Maybe they don't want to be doxxed, but you know who you are. And basically what he said to me was that, I move so quick. I go from at one point, I was extremely bearish on the market when Bitcoin had topped out in 2021. And I was publicly and vocally very, very bearish. And he said he faded me on that. And he ultimately, well, he wishes that he didn't. But when I flipped bullish at $16,100, he listened to me. And then suddenly I made this huge shift into the meme coin sector, and he said he wishes that I explained a little bit deeper my reasoning as to why I did that. So I'll try and do that for you guys. I mean, this is the reasoning, guys. This is the reasoning. I'm here to make a lot of money as quick as possible and play this cycle as aggressively as I possibly can and take as much wealth out of the market as humanly possible. That is the ultimate goal. If meme coins are where the liquidity is, I am moving to where the liquidity is. If the liquidity shifts into something else, I'll shift to where the liquidity goes, because that's how you extract maximum value from the market. So just to make it clear, guys, remember, I don't have, any insider info on these kind of things. I'm playing the market on the open market, just like the rest of you. And when I spot an opportunity, I hit it as hard as I possibly can. So I just wanted to make that clear. Anytime that you see me shift into something that seems uncharacteristic for my personality type, because you guys used to know me as the extremely conservative person who, doesn't take any ridiculous risks and this and that. Remember, there's a time and a place. The market moves through different phases. You move through a bear market in a strong downtrending phase, a markdown phase. At that point, of course, I had to be extremely conservative because that was the best way to trade that market, looking only to short bounces within the market. Then we moved into a slow ranging market where I became a range trader, and I was longing support, shorting resistance until that range broke and we reclaimed above $17,000. I was maximum long, and I flipped from being conservative to very, very, very aggressive. Now we're back into a ranging market. But usually, once Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, following the halving cycle, when Bitcoin begins to range, that's usually where the altcoins start to rally, and they go into a major market phase. So you're going to see my personality shift even more aggressive than what you've already seen me be within the meme coins. So I just wanted to make that very clear. I hope that you all understand. So it was a really, really good conversation with everybody that was out there. Now that we have that out the way, let's continue. Let's look into the equity markets. And let's also have a look at what's happening with Bitcoin. And then I'll finish off with what I think is a hot new narrative, which you probably want to get some exposure to as soon as possible before the masses come, because most have not yet realized how hard this sector will likely pump. All right. First, equity markets. This week, we have 4 big, magnificent 7 companies which are going to be reporting earnings. Of course, it's Microsoft, Google, Meta, Tesla, and then the other 3. We have NVIDIA, officially down 20% from its peak. So putting in a major pullback over there. And then we have Supermicro Computers, which is also down 50% from its peak. So this is when the market loses interest. This is when people think it's all over. Unfortunately, they always tend to buy the top, the masses that is, where now is the time that you should actually be paying major attention, right? Then we have the March PCE inflation data, which is also going to be coming out. That should bring volatility into the market. So let's go. Let's have a look at the markets. We have the DXY, the dollar, of course, which put in a big bounce over here. Following a breakup from the range high, we deviated back inside. We're also in an upsloping or rising parallel channel, which has a double confluence with the top of the horizontal side of the range, also with the diagonal, and you're above the moving average. So the dollar has added some pressure and it looks set to continue higher. This is why Bitcoin is not yet out of the woods. There's some key levels which must be reclaimed. Once those levels get reclaimed, then we can talk about a real shift within the sentiment. You can see the S&P 500 is clearly in a short-term downtrend on the low time frames. This has come down, but you are going to get major support at 4,700. You also have the Nasdaq, which is also broken through the range over there, putting in a bit of a sell-off, and we'll be looking for a bounce from about 395 to 397. Then below that, you have the Dow Jones, same thing, breaking below the parallel range level, and its bottom is going to probably be coming in around 36,264. And then, of course, you have Coinbase, right? Which trades very similar. I wouldn't be looking for Coinbase to come all the way back down to the bottom over here. I think Coinbase most likely bounces from about $187. That would be the level to watch, in my personal opinion. Now, if you look at the overall trend for this bull run, it is still towards the upside. We want to pay attention to what's happening over there on the volume profile, right? If you look at the volume profile, you can see there was a little bit of volume on the sell off, but what you want to pay attention to is on the bounces. If Bitcoin is to bounce and get above this 69,000 key level, the white line over here, you want to see volume pick up off of that move as well. If you have diminishing volume whilst that's taking place, then it might need more time to continue to consolidate. Overall, the trend remains up and bullish so long as Bitcoin is above that $59,000 on a weekly closing basis. Now, if we continue on over here, another important thing to look at is the monthly returns. Now, we've already had 6 straight months in a row of green candles, right? There's been 6 straight months of Bitcoin green candle closes. And the question is, will we get a 7th? We've never seen 7 in a row. The most we've ever had is now with 6. So expect that there is a possibility that we'll continue to consolidate and even possibly pull back. Now, that consolidation in Bitcoin, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, often leads to a breakdown in the Bitcoin dominance and an increase in the ETH-BTC ratio, which usually leads to a big move in the altcoin market sector. So that is something that we need to pay attention to. At the end of the day, this consolidation has led to a total wipeout in the funding rate heat map. So leverage is being completely flush, and that's usually a very good thing. Our worst case scenario was a move all the way back down to the longer term moving average over here on the 5-day time frame, which is currently in at about $53,000. Now, if we get a rejection from these key levels, which I'm about to mention to you, then expect that you are probably going to roll over and you might get that one more flush to the downside, and $52,000 on a wick basis, meaning price wicks into that level, is still in the total realm of possibility, right? So that is a possibility. Now, here are your key levels. This is what's going on, right? You can see that we're pushing up into the mid-range of this price action, right? We are attempting to reclaim this. This is going to be resistance until reclaimed and acceptance is gained above. You can see the clear trading range over here for Bitcoin. We swept the bottom of the range. We're still waiting for a sweep of the top side of the range, meaning that price should get above $73,000 at some point. So let's watch that very, very carefully. You can see the RSI on the bottom over here has been governed down by a trend line, and we once again attempting to break back above, but we need to see closing candles occur above that level. So if Bitcoin can get and hold above this $67,600 level, multiple candles close and breaks you back into the top side of the trading range, that should allow the RSI to break up above this trend line over here and gain some new momentum to the upside. And then, of course, we do have the etchings of the, again, bull moon, which is about to print. You can see the bear moon governed price to the downside, previous bull moon governed price to the upside, the prior bear moon governed price to the downside, and so the story repeats, right? At about a 70 to 80% hit rate, depending on how far back you go with your back testing. It's a pretty reliable indicator, and we don't use it in isolation. But again, you can see why a reclaim of these key levels will be so important. If you do get above that, you're also breaking above your 9 and your 18 exponential moving average, which we tend to use on the daily. We've already started to reclaim above the 200 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. Your first signs of a potential break above the 67K mid-range would be if we start to close candles above that 200 EMA. So that will be your sign that it is looking possible. Okay, where do things really start to look good? Well, things start to look good if you see this. If you can see multiple 4-hour candle closes above 67,700, then you know you're gaining acceptance above the mid-range, and this becomes our next tradable target, meaning you can look for long opportunities up to $73,000. A rejection from $67,700 and failure to gain acceptance above that level means you have to look for a deeper move down. And since we've hit this level so many times, you can see 1, 2 over here, 3, the fourth time usually does not hold. That means you're probably going to lead to a breakdown, at which point you're going to play out this move all the way down into the $53,000 region. So that's your quick analysis on Bitcoin, your very quick update on Bitcoin. I don't want to spend too much time yet because I want to get into that new hot narrative. Lastly, on Bitcoin, you do have, of course, cumulative volume delta is looking positive over here. So that's usually looking to counter that when coming into resistance, meaning we're coming into 67K resistance now with extremely positive funding. Sometimes in the short time frame, you can trade that in the opposite direction, meaning now you could start to look to head short. Only do that if you're a very low time frame trader, right? If you're a very, very low time frame trader, watch for the rejection from the mid-range, watch for acceptance to be gained under that mid-range level, and then you can look for the short trade. All right, if you're inexperienced, just ignore that last part of what I just said, otherwise you're going to get wrecked. The order book is pretty empty over here, right? Order book's pretty empty. No major buys or sells coming into the market. So that's flat. We'll wait for something to fill out over there. Now, here's your Bitcoin dominance chart, right? You can notice a very, very clear bearish divergence taking place with prices essentially going higher and higher. If you look over here, here's your, quickly grab that. Here is your RSI rejecting from the trend line. And here is your price, right? Putting in higher highs and higher lows, or at least your Bitcoin dominance chart putting in high highs and high lows. So that's your first sign and symptom that the overall momentum for the Bitcoin dominance is starting to weaken, as we can tell from the RSI over here. So if there is a rejection and you do start to break below $52,000, there is a possibility that we could see it play out further to the downside. For now, it's similar to all the prior shows that I've done where I said it's 90% bullish. Previously, I said 90% bullish on the Bitcoin dominance, and I give about a 10% edge to the bears. Because of the presence of the bearish divergence, I would start to shift that now to say about 80% are in the bulls' favor and about 20% is in the bears' favor, meaning that the bulls still hold the majority of the momentum over here, and 60% is more likely at the moment than breaking down to 40%, right? Cool. Hope we got that cleared. Now, if you look over here at also the divergence is taking place between the Bitcoin dominance on the right, I've just shown you that in real time. You can look on the left-hand side, you have the 𝗏/BTC ratio, which is putting in bullish divergence. So they are in agreement with each other. And of course, they trade in exact opposition to inversely to one another, right? So if Bitcoin dominance goes up, 𝗏/BTC goes down. If 𝗏/BTC goes up, Bitcoin dominance typically goes down. Now, hopefully we can see a reclaim of the range level over here. And there's a lot of work to do. As it currently stands, if we look over here at the 𝗏/BTC chart, it is definitely still in a very strong downtrend, right? Lower lows, lower highs. It's broken below all the key trading range levels, and it's so far gaining acceptance below. But if you can see that snap back and deviation back into the range, which would look something like that, then there's a possibility. Now, you don't need to rush. This will take time to play out. This is not going to play out in one day. And even if it does play out in one single candle like this, you can expect that inefficiency will be refilled and you'll probably come back down one more time. This takes weeks to even months to be fulfilled, but it's something to watch. Keep your eye out on this chart. Now, if you look at the actual ETH/USD chart, this is the current situation. We can see a very clear trading range, right? This was the prior bull market's trading range, and we've broken back into that trading range. The yellow area denotes the mid-range of that level, which is going to be resistance, right? We came and we broke out of an ascending triangle. This is where we all went long at about $1,000. We went long on the show, and we fulfilled already the measured move, which would be taken from the base of that triangle to the top side, which were the equal heights. We've already fulfilled that move, right? We've played out. We're now rejecting from the mid-range. Watch for any major higher lows or reaccumulation to be formed over here on ETH/USD. If you see it, you'll be looking for the next move up to gain that acceptance above the $3,200 level. And at that point, you can trade it to the top side at 4,700. Probably it will break through on the second attempt of that level. So still a lot of upside potential over here for ETH. We don't trade ETH. It's not our predominant trade, right? That's at about another 45% upside. It's not our predominant trade, but it is our litmus test for what's going to happen for the rest of the altcoin market. It shows us when people want to be risk on for the rest of the market. So we can tie that in with the next narrative part to gain an understanding of when people are going to be looking to take on more risk. If you look at total 3, also, we gained acceptance above the top side of the mid-range over here. We also hit the trend line, which is looking good. That is your 50% level. Remember, we redrew this. You can see the clearly defined trading range over here. So if total 3, which is the altcoin sector, can break back and hold inside the yellow box over here, that will be where bulls can reclaim control and hopefully have enough momentum to get above that very key level, which is $825 billion market cap level for total 3. Solana, we went long on Solana. I publicly said this live on the show. I went long into the bottom region over here looking for a bounce. The LARP lines still remain intact and relevant. That's what I'm looking for, right? A break above this mid-range level over here at $166. If we can get and hold above that, that will be looking good for mid-range reclaim and continuation higher. I don't expect it to break above 204 on the first attempt. If it gets there, there's going to be a probable rejection from that zone, reaccumulation, just like the LARP line show, and then the next attempt up should break through. Okay, who is this guy? 𝗕𝗄𝗅. Okay, this is the next part of the show. 𝗕𝗄𝗅 ultimately is the guy that is responsible for ordinals, right? Think of it like the NFTs on Bitcoin, right? So we've started to build a lot onto Bitcoin. You saw that was a hot narrative. People made a lot of money. Meme coins were the next narrative. People made a lot of money on meme coins, millions of dollars on Solana, right? It's been very, very easy to use, quick, simple. Using the Phantom wallet, it's just seamless and mostly perfect until the thing got completely congested, and then it became a little bit more troublesome. Now, there's a major shift that's taking place over here, which of course is runes. Now, runes is essentially like the same thing as meme coins, but on Bitcoin. I'm going to give you a very quick overview of how this works. This is one reason why Bitcoin transaction fees skyrocketed through the roof. You can see over here already Ben saying hello runes, because it is because of runes, right? So very simply, runes is meme coins on Bitcoin. Now, there's a big opportunity over there, right? As the hype starts to pick up, if they can lower the fees and it's not too expensive to buy into, this could be one way to multiply your Bitcoin. It's incredibly risky, but at the end of the day, the most money is made when you first. That's why I'm bringing it to you. I don't want you guys to be too late. This just launched like literally right now. I think it's only just started to trade live on various different platforms as of this week. They wanted to wait for the halving to finish, and then it went live on different platforms. So you can go to the meme pool for Bitcoin. The meme pool over here shows you how congested Bitcoin is. This will help you to understand when's the best time to buy. So for example, when you go on ETH and you make a swap and it's very expensive because the gas fees are super high, think of the meme pool as your platform to showcase when the gas fees will be cheap and how much they will be. And that's when you want to make these trades, right? That's when you want to execute if you are looking to get exposure to the sector. So how does it work? If you look over here on meme pool, there you go, memepool.space is the URL. You can see over here, it will give you a graph when it gets very, very high, or you can look over here. It's giving you the price. So right now, executing on Bitcoin at this exact present moment is not that expensive. If you do a high priority transaction, you can see over here, it's $9.71. So that's based on the average native transaction of 140 bytes. Cheap or low priority would be $1.85. So pretty cheap, right? So if you are making these trades, I'm about to show you how to do it. If you are making these trades, just go through to the meme pool. Look at the graph. Is it green or red? If it's green, it's uncongested, it's cheap. That's probably the best time to do it. If it's red, you don't want to touch it. Now, there's a lot to look at over here. Now, ultimately, if you think of the market cap of what some of these Solana meme coins have gone to and all the meme coins on Solana, this will showcase how small the sector is, right? The point over here is you want to be early. This is so early that I haven't even had a chance to take a single one of these trades yet. I'm sharing all the alpha with you guys first. I will later go and search what the best things are to buy and then start to execute on those trades. Right now, this is just an introduction to what's going on with Rootage, right? So if you look at the biggest one is Satoshi Nakamoto. And currently, that one's market cap is at 133 million. There's 21 million supply, which is exactly the same as Bitcoin, right? But I think all of them should already be in circulation. They've been minted. So the way that you get these is these guys have to mint them. More on that in just a moment. 21 million. So theoretically, I mean, if this had to pick up in the same way as Bitcoin, that would be like buying Bitcoin at $6.32 because that's the current price. And you can go through the list, right? This is where if you go to Rune's market cap, you can go look at all the different runes to see what the market caps of these runes tokens are. Now, it's pretty interesting because there's strange tokenomics at play when it comes to these runes tokens and game theory, right? One of the game theories over here is that every 4 months, the ticker will drop a letter. So if you have a long ticker, I think you have to have more than 14 letters in the ticker. That's why you can see that these are already pretty high. So this one will probably do well. This one will be sat by the time it drops down to 3. Every 4 months, you lose a ticker. So interesting game theory when you're coming up with a good name, right? So if you want, for example, to create BTC and you wanted to have pretty much a strong ticker name, BTC is one of the strongest ticker names, or ETH, something like that. Then, of course, you have to write out a 14-word thing that makes sense now and makes sense all the way along the path as the 4-month cycle progresses to still keep interest within the market. Now, when I looked at this over here, there was also one of the best places to get it was on Magic Eden. Now, you're going to need multiple different wallets that are able to connect. Now, Magic Eden is probably the best place to go if you want to find out what these wallets are. You can look over here. Where is it? Here we go, Connect Wallet. So if you go to Connect Wallet, these are the available wallets. So you would need to fund it with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, of course, would be similar to if you think of trading any token on Ethereum, you're using ETH as the gas fee. And if you just fund the token with Ethereum, you can swap Ethereum into any one of those tokens. You fund this with Bitcoin, or you can also put USDT on it, but you must have Bitcoin as the gas token. So Magic Eden, 𝗥𝗏𝘅, Unisat, Lather, OKX, Token Pocket. These are currently the ones that are available to trade with. Magic Eden is, of course, similar to one of these marketplaces, right, where you can go and you can find a bunch of different things. If you go over here, you'll find pre-runes. Pre-runes are the ones that you want to look at. Runestone is one that's of high interest and it's got liquidity over there. Rune Pups is another one to look at. Feel free, go through the list. I'm not going to go too in detail today because I don't want to make the show too long, but this is something to look at, right? Let's move on over here. If you go to Unisat, Unisat's another place if you want seamless buying, right? You just want to be able to buy in batches. You can see they're selling, for example, 1.47 million of this particular token. It's going for 21.5 sats, which is $0.01. So buy enough that it makes it justifiable for whatever the gas fee is. And consider, again, a reminder, it's not financial advice. This is all very, very high risk. Now, another thing that you have to pay attention to when you are buying these runes is ultimately the pre-mined number. So think of the pre-mined number similar to the devs, right, on Solana or Phantom, on a Phantom wallet. They once they list a particular token, they know the contract address and they're sniping huge amounts of the supply, 25-30% of the supply, to control the entire project. And then later, they sometimes dump on the community, creating a major rug. Now, if you go here to luminex.io and you go under mint runes and you scroll through, you'll be able to see it's listed over there. It says, for example, 11.36% is pre-mined. Obviously, if there's numbers that are super, super high over here, like 25-30%, you don't want to be getting involved with those ones. You don't want to be minting those. Some of them don't have mint next to the name. That's already because they've been fully minted. People are pre-minting them already. Now, you have two choices, right? You can either go and look for new tokens that you want to pre-mint, or you can go and you can just buy it on the open market, at which point you'll look at Magic Eden, or you'll look over here at Unisat. Those are the two options, right? Magic Eden, Unisat, those are the two best options. Okay, what else? I had a lot that I wanted to share with you guys over here. You can see over here, he has Shiba Nakamoto. So obviously every 4 months, they're going to lose a digit. So you can calculate how many months it will take to have it just be called Shiba. And then you play that in line with when you think the cycle top would be, what are going to be the best tickers at that point in time. I'll probably look to get exposure in things like that. All right. Rune BTC.xyz. This is another place that you can come to. There you go. It's also showing you the number of coins over here that are minted. So you can look at the available mint. If you want to be the first to mint coins, you need to be very, very quick and be careful of being front run, right? They can front run you on this, at which point you lose a lot of your money. So I don't want to go any more into this. We'll save it for another show. That's your introduction to runes. I also wanted to mention other ways that you can make money right now in the ranging market other than trading the range. Have a look at 𝗕𝗲𝗕𝗄𝗅. The link is in the description below. If you are somebody that wants to be full-time in crypto and you're somebody that wants to make money on the go through to 𝗕𝗲𝗕𝗄𝗅.com. You'll see over here you can start earning by ultimately participating in their chat and earn. So if you know a lot about projects that are launched over here and you can add value and you want to go full-time crypto, please go through to the link in the description below. Click that link, go through, chat and earn, chat and add value within those projects, communicate over there, give them real engagement, and you can earn tokens in result for that. Another way that you can earn or make big bucks within crypto, this one you'll have to put a bit of money into, is through Commonwealth, right? Commonwealth ultimately makes you the VC. So there is also a link in the description below, and you can see they've just launched their alpha fund. It's coming. It's very, very, very soon. It's about to launch. Sorry, it hasn't launched yet. It's about to launch. Remember, I have $20,000 worth of tokens because you, the community, helped me around this one by signing up. I will be distributing that amongst the rest of the fam. As soon as I receive those tokens, I will distribute them. Remember, by holding a certain number of tokens and staking them, you get access into their fund, which means when the IDO phase comes, the seed round investments, you get allocation into the projects that they've already vetted using experts, and you can invest in those too. So I think that's it for today. Let's leave it over there. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see all of you guys on the next one, and I hope the internet held up. Guys, tomorrow I am going to be flying. Tomorrow during my show time, I'm flying. There will not be a show tomorrow. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Have a great one, and cheers for now.